Hello and welcome to round one front nine coverage of the DISCRAFT Great Lakes Open. We are in Milford, Michigan for the fifth stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Big Barry commentary coming at you. About to start an awesome event here.
Yes, we are. And we got some good guys on the card, of course.
As always, we've got Simon Lizotte, the wonder child from Germany. Obviously, this course is infamous and famous for its huge hills and its treacherous rough. Long holes. Nikko Locastro, after that big win at the Preserve Championship, see if he can ride some momentum here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And look who we've got here. We've got my buddy Paul Ulibarri in the booth and on the screen at the same time.
Yes, I am, and looking really sad.
We've got KJ USA. He is doing big things this season already. Second place last year at the DGLO. Obviously, that big forehand, big backhand combo going to be a huge advantage on this track. Starting off on the big hole one, par 3, 477 feet, downhill about 850 feet. This is just a true introduction into this course. 61 floors of elevation up and down throughout the course. At the end of the day, your legs are tired and so are your arms.
We're now ready for our 1 o'clock pairings. Team first, from Bremen, Germany, Simon Lizotte.
Common play on this one, you're going to see a lot of fairways and mid-ranges thrown backhand. Just want to hold that anhyzer, and obviously if you've got the power to the forehand, that is a big weapon on this hole.
Yeah, and definitely a tricky win to start off the tournament too. A little jittery, right to left crosswind.
Just tricky going downhill to a blind shot, and this is turning nicely. But going so far downhill, even when it's turned that much, it's just going to fade as Simon doesn't get quite enough turn with that mid. Still inside circle two.
From St. Louis, Missouri, Nikko Locastro. Go Blues!
We saw a lot of forehands from Nikko at the Preserve, something that he's been working on a lot, and there's a few opportunities on this course to utilize that and be interested.
This actually plays like a really far sidearm on the first hole.
It really does.
I mean, it really pushes, like you have to have a power sidearm to get it there, I feel like. It's really hard to flip something up more understable, so.
And it looks like Nikko has put down the backhand mid-range and is lining up the forehand. And that is going to be short. There's so far to go hyzer. If you're going to get that distance, you have to get the disc turned up just a bit, maybe even turned over just for a moment.
Yeah, the amount of power you have to have in order to get an angle like that all the way to the basket is, there's only a few people in the world who can really do it.
And you're going mid-range?
Yeah, this is a Comet.
Cam Todd used to say that the Comets were the fastest DISCRAFT ever made just because they glide forever.
And they roll nice, too.
That cuts up just a bit short at Circle 2's edge. I'm just really excited to watch this guy play this course. That forehand, obviously, he's one of the people that you're talking about, that elite distance.
But even he's going to have to flip this one up a little bit, I feel like.
Keeps that low outside, and that's that power. That's that next level of power, and you're going to see this just cruise past Nikko's and all the way in the circle, and that is such a tremendous shot to start off the tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the only few that can really get away with throwing sidearm on that hole with that, even that low.
And it never flipped all the way to flat. It was just, it was flat, but it was never turned over. Most people, if they're going to get there, they have to get the distance. Just turn over a slight bit. Kevin obviously doesn't need that. 66 feet. A bit of a run. Kind of.
I mean, I tried to make it. It just it seems impossible from out there.
Simon, maybe he feels the same way right now. Giving it that classic German smile that whenever he... Maybe it's not a German thing. Maybe it's just a Simon thing. And Kevin, after that great tee shot, he makes good from 25 feet.
Yeah, last year he was actually #1 circle 2 putting. So
Kevin Jones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something about this course causes for a lot of outside the circle putting.
And we got 143 players in the MPO field. Only 18 deuces to start the event off, only 13%. The whole average just above par. There's a little bit of trouble if you hit early on the right side and drop straight down. That's almost instant bogey. And then if you go too far right, it's actually pretty tight off there and to the right side. And that's one of these things this course is really well known for.
The Toboggan course is known for its up and down hill design. Hole 2 is no exception. At 726 feet, playing uphill the entire way, the first shot is crucial. Not only does the hole play a lot further because of the extreme elevation, it also has some of the thickest rough on the course. Get off the fairway and birdie is not an option. Stay in the fairway and birdie will be tough. Let's see how it plays out.
And here's Kevin's drive. And that's exactly what you're talking about. A big booming turnover right down the middle of the fairway. That sets him up. Simon tried to match Kevin's drive. A little bit more turn. If this flexes out, this would be huge.
It's still really far.
Yeah, it's so far up there that it's almost, you're willing to take it off into the rough. And that's actually,
Right.
If there's any part of this fairway or any part of this hole that the rough is okay, it's just a little bit off to the right side. This is looking perfect. And that's a beautiful shot, but that is still, I mean, you're only 300 feet from the pin, probably feels like you're 450.
Yeah, it's extremely uphill, and with the run up, it really causes, on the second shot, it really causes you to lose a lot of power as well.
And
That's
Nikko,
probably the main issue.
yeah, sure. Nikko with a huge Annie.
I didn't know. It felt like it was just gonna. It was okay. It was okay. It was just an early release. I'm trying to get it up high.
Nikko using more of the fairway than maybe he was intending to, but still ends up right in the middle. And you can see the run-up issue Kevin might have experienced a little bit right there. Just so hard to get that momentum carried into the throw. One of the game's farthest throwers. Only throwing it a couple hundred feet, and it's just, you almost have to run up sideways and then throw a bit of like a controlled grip lock.
Yeah.
It's like a difficult shot to master.
It's definitely a unique throw as Nikko kind of runs straight up to it.
That is really a display of athleticism as he gets it high and carries over the crest of the hill and into 25 feet away from the pin territory. That's a fantastic shot.
He told me he weighs 135 pounds.
I mean, running uphill doesn't even slow him down.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Get on. Try to use my body to get up there, bud.
How many knee surgeries have you had? That's a great shot, though. That was a nimble approach. That was well done.
I had to go from the side and then do a little hop skip thing that I didn't do, but I thought I did.
God, if you even saw me attempt that shot, it would end my career. And Simon from a tricky spot. Look at that awkward release. And he crests the hill with a nose-up slide to 30. Actually, inside 30. That was a fantastic shot from Simon.
Yeah, and what was really impressive about that is even with the vines and stuff in his run-up, he was able to maintain the control, really focus on his angle, which I think is the reason why he got up there.
And he continued his pace and his footwork, which is so tough to do. Was that outside circle too?
Yes. Yeah, that was
Good
was
effort.
outside.
And this is just inside the circle.
No, this is actually outside circle 2 as well.
Yeah, oh wow, depth perception problems. My eyes aren't what they used to be.
Simon's laughing at me.
Oh. Is this a Texas States rerun? Is this a massacre coming up?
It could very well could be.
No.
Not for Simon, though.
Simon makes good. That was a great birdie. And this hole used to be a par 5. Nothing's changed besides just them calling it a par 4. And I feel like it was It is a pro level par 4, but if you don't have pro level distance, I mean, it plays like a par 5 all the way.
Hover over it.
Do you think players get more aggressive by calling it a 4?
Sure, I think that everybody's just gotten better, and so, you know, the average score is going to be way lower.
Yeah.
I think the rough has also gotten a little bit more lenient on the hole, left and right.
Yeah.
And from years past, especially, you know, early 2010, 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah, that was what this place was known for. And then they had those trees that invade the invasive species on the course, and a lot of trees had to come down at that time. And anyhow, the course has been tightened up a few places, like here on hole 3, this par 4, 915 feet down this huge hill, left side OB coming into the drive. If a drive isn't turned straight and held straight, it will fade OB eventually. So you got to make sure you throw either a fairway driver or a mid-range even.
One of the more visually appealing holes, really, that we play.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
it
this is
beautiful.
on a lot of players' dream 18.
I think so, yeah.
This is a fantastic hole. Simon off to the right side. The only issue with being off to the right side, he's going to have that big mound in the way, so he's going to have a completely blind approach.
Aw.
But still a great
a
drive.
blind 120-foot approach.
And Nikko, don't worry, that's not a foot fault. There have been little marks put on either side of the tee box so that players can use either side so they don't have to use these rubber tee mats.
And Nikko actually leaked that one a bit too far left and ended up out of bounds.
And look at this straight drive from Kevin, just going with the mid-range. Just a boring 450 right down the middle. Actually, that's more like 500. Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is turned over. And one of the problems with this hole is once it starts turning over, it just doesn't stop. And that rough on the right, man, if you didn't have spotters, you forget about it. It's a lost disc every time.
Yeah, that wasn't great. Nikko gets his meter off this out of bounds here.
And Nikko's probably pushing 430, 440 feet here. This is a pretty lengthy approach to save the par.
And not the easiest run up with the tall grass kind of right there.
And that's a nice wide swing. He's calling for it to go and creeping right up there to just outside circle 1. Not a bad shot. Wow. Just a mid-range and then a little flick of the wrist approach. Could not make that hole look any easier. That was so good.
I think the spotter threw mine out. I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait, hold on a second. What happened here?
I just pitched straight out.
Oh, wow. That's a great par save. I mean, 350 feet to 5. Great approach. We finally make our way all the way up to Simon's drive. He's got his putter in his hand. I think he was running back to maybe get a spot in the basket, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Got to pick your point. Trust your distance.
And then 120 feet, he did it.
Yeah, he really did cut a lot off of that tee shot. It didn't seem like
Quite
he
impressive.
threw it so far, but it's Simon Lizotte, so you can expect it to go about 20 feet further, or 20% further than it looks sometimes.
Why does he put the chalk on his hand if he just wipes it off on his shorts? I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
So that he can do
Nikko.
that. So they can do that right there.
Wow, what a save.
I love the commitment.
Yeah.
How he really opens the hand way out in front of him. Like, he really wants it.
That's awesome. And Kevin, after playing the hole exactly the way he drew it up, cleans up the birdie putt from 22 feet. Simon will do the same, and you just have a short tap in for your par. I think I was thinking about the camera always adds 20 pounds. So Simon's drives always go 20% further than it looks.
And I always look fat.
Hole 4, par 4, 580 feet, play here is either a backhand backdoor there or a sidearm flex shot, trying to land somewhere right around here and just give yourself a good look up this tunnel. One of the shorter par 4s in the course, but it's not without its challenges, that's for sure. And you got this mound green here. Anything that skips past this mound is gonna go way past the hole.
There was a spotter that kept coming in and out of the bushes. Every time Simon was about to go, he'd like kind of pop out.
And going over the top, that's another play I didn't talk about. Mostly because I don't even think of that as an option for most people, but that is certainly a play. It's gonna come up a little bit short of where Simon would like to be.
Kevin using this old D2.
This is hung out wide, but this is looking really nice. Yeah, that's the landing zone you kind of want to be in right there.
A little nice kick too.
Off the right side, that'll set up a little backhand putter approach most likely. Kind of surprised to not see Kevin go with the flippy forehand there. I really feel like that inside turnover line really sets up for a great forehand turnover, but that's a shot that we've seen him go with a lot lately. As Nikko swings his hyzer in, and you can see the penalty of not getting around those trees. That is going to be a very difficult place for Nikko. There's a good release. This just creeps around backside, and that's a good place.
Yeah.
That's exactly where you want to be.
Nikko's actually kind of pinched up against the rough here, so he took his time to get in there, but he really had to like commit, follow through with the arm.
Oh.
And that branch took it all off.
Just so difficult to get all those things and then get past that last limb.
Right, and the angle right, all those things just like makes it a very difficult shot.
As open as this course is known for being, the rough, like not just the rough, but in the fairways, the branches that hang out in the fairway are a huge obstacle in this course. As Simon decides he wants to play from over there now. I like the idea.
He said, I did it. That was the worst shot I've ever thrown.
I love him so much, man. He's the best. Except for right there. That was not the best, but the personality is. And that scooted up.
Yeah.
Won't talk much about that one, but
it was so lucky. It was just horrible.
It's all right.
Yeah.
And Kevin, after that great drive, man. Oh, and this is the problem. It looked like he had put the brakes on, but just enough steam to get past the edge of the hill, and he's going to have to really work for the birdie now.
I kind of like that, though. When you're in the position that he is in, it's easy to leave it short and then have that really tough uphill approach. So I like the fact that he did, he missed it by a foot. Is it a foot shorter than that, and it's perfect, but it's better than being a little bit less than that, and then 1 foot equals like 30 feet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got to make that commitment. Simon with a nice approach to get out of the woods. Oh, wow.
He just sat that one in there.
Wow, look at this. Almost zero wobble on that. That really was almost like a basketball half-court shot or something like that. The way that he just lofted it up and it just dropped right in the basket.
That was so picturesque.
Yeah. Fantastic putt. Really had to work hard for the birdie. Wow. And that was from just outside the circle. Kevin with a jump putt. And when this thing's on, I mean, this kid is lights out.
Yeah, lethal.
Kevin moves a 3 down through 4. Fantastic start. These opening holes are not easy.
You do the same.
thank you to DISCRAFT. Moving on to hole 5, par 3, 300 feet. This was one of the first holes that we saw Macbeth really run into some issues on his historic 18 under round and had to make a huge putt to keep the perfection going. Just so many trees here. Common play is going to be that backhand turnover or forehand semi-flip up sidearm to try to just somehow dance around all these trees. There's just so many of them. And wow, what a great skip. That was...
Yeah, I didn't know it was a stable sidearm throw.
That's interesting. I thought you had to go kind of flip up, but the stable play, some merit to that. Nikko try to learn from that line, keep it tight. And look at that. It just didn't really go anywhere after it hit the ground. Looks like it just went 2 feet after it skipped, but to hit the gap is great.
Yeah, I've been throwing more of a flip up.
That's why I thought that was the play here, but apparently stable all the way might be the play. Simon comes up pretty short. And really, them extending the tees horizontally has really opened up the angle for this forehand. Just that extra couple of feet. Yeah. See, when you go backdoor, you have so many more tiny trees. I think, yeah, that stable forehand line, really, Kevin made it look so easy. But just a couple extra feet you get off the tee box really opens up that line. Oh, wow. That was a great effort. Simon, wow, that was a great line as well. And he'll be off left.
One thing about these rounds or this round that was actually kind of nice is it wasn't as hot as the practice rounds. Like it definitely cooled off for us.
Fantastic weather. Very little wind. Just Nikko, again, a beautiful step putt. That nose up spin step putt is really working for him.
There was nothing different from that one and the other one.
No, I mean, that was 2 chain links higher, and that's it. Kevin with a great opportunity to go 4 down through 5. Keep that hot start rolling here. Making it look easy, folks.
He does make it look easy.
It really does. Like, just kind of piercing the fairways with good shots, making 25-foot putts, an occasional jump putt. But, I mean, it doesn't look hard. It feels hard when you're playing it.
Oh, well, look at my round. It's really difficult. Well, it's a really difficult thing to do.
It's a gray out right now, folks.
Yeah, it's really hard out there.
I was right there with you. I think I had 1 birdie to this point. How about that? Only 19% of the field birdied that hole. The shortest hole on the course at 300 feet. You think maybe a few more, but those trees really make it tricky. On to hole 6, par 4, 632 feet. Another somewhat short par 4, but very tricky on the landing zone. We call this one the turtle back. As you can see here, the mound is shaped like the back of a turtle, and it makes the putts so tricky once you get up there to the elevated basket as well. Flip up drive here from Kevin. This is pretty much perfect in every sense of the word.
Yeah, it's perfect and massive.
That's
really far. He doesn't make it look that far in this camera view, but in real life,
in human life,
yeah, in the human life, it's
500
big.
feet. Yeah, he has less than. Yeah, he's got probably less than 200 feet left.
Here's a good shot. And there you go. That's regular person. And Nikko rips.
Yeah, no doubt. Can be a bit tricky if you go too far left, so super important to flip it up flat as Simon does not get it as flat as he'd like, and that is going to be in a tricky place, especially with him not feeling super comfortable throwing the forehand right now. If you go off left, the forehand Anheuser is a good option to scramble, but
I actually meant to say something when he threw that roller. He actually had a sidearm upshot, and he chose the roller because he couldn't throw the sidearm, so it's definitely affecting his round.
But you do have the option to throw the forehand, something that you like to do, so that's not the worst place to be.
No, I would actually prefer to be on the left side rather than kind of just straight at it. Not that far left. That was kind of horrible, but
yeah,
I can make it happen. From
I like the way that it opens up the angle as well.
Yes,
the straight shot just definitely seems really tricky. And Nikko going from a standstill, asking for the big skip. Not a bad approach from being down the hill. And I can't even imagine what he's looking at right now from this position. It can't be too good. That was almost spectacular. Wow. And just needs to keep holding its turn. Does pretty much all the way up to the edge of the circle.
Yeah, not bad from there. That still wasn't great. If it holds that turn a bit more, then it's parked.
And Kevin, just look at that drive. Look what you're left with from there. Just gonna easily work his way to 5 down through 6.
Yeah, very impressive.
That was
that drive was far.
Yep, big drive. Simon, not really too much of an option. He might give it a bid, but this is a prayer from. What was that?
Full commitment. That's what that was.
If there's not a smile on his face when he stands up, okay, it's kind of a smile. There it is. Were you tweeting that?
No, he made a funny sound when he fell down, and I was just making fun of him a little bit. Nikko comes up a bit short there.
This is a really challenging putt. 6 birdies to start off. And look at that. Outside the circle on the elevated basket, on the mound, full commitment. That's a way to get your round started.
Yeah. And I was just not in the mood.
Hey, that was a big germ stamp on the bottom of that disc.
That's right. That's the one you gave me a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that makes me feel good to see that you just made a big putt with that.
Yeah, well, what about the other ones that were like short, left, right, low, high? Jeez.
Those are your putters. Those weren't mine, buddy. I told you want to make big putts, you got to putt with the big germ stamp. So a tap and birdie for Kevin Jones. His hot round has just continued. On to hole 7, par 4, 500 feet, low ceiling, incredibly challenging tee shot, and you have to get far left. This hole has really been made more difficult by bringing this basket around and up the hill and to the right. Before, it was a little bit straighter. It didn't matter so much where your tee shot landed. Right. Now you have to be far left.
Otherwise, yeah, you have this big turnover shot that's really difficult, high branches, and you definitely, off the tee, a lot of people are going with their more stable disc.
Yeah.
Because if you throw a flip up, there is the chance to skip off the top of that hill and go out of bounds left. I've seen it happen.
And that's an okay shot from Kevin, but I'm sure he'd like to have another 50 feet up and left. And this is going to be in the backhand turnover range as well. I do not believe you'll be able to get a forehand up to the pin from that angle.
Wait. Just you wait,
you wait. And it is a good option for someone who does have the forehand turnover line, just because you can really get it to go left and then fight back away from the out of bounds line. But with the low ceiling, it is a very tough thing to do, and I'm not surprised to see all 4 of these guys go with the backhand. Simon with the early release, somehow splitting the gap. Fortunately, not kicking hard left because there is a lot of danger down to the left side. He'll be able to take a step out into the fairway and advance up and try to just save his par.
Yeah, this was a really good sidearm.
Yeah. That's a good scramble.
He even said he didn't want to throw it because of his arm. But sometimes you have no option.
Sure. And it's not like a super hard throw. I don't know how much it's really affecting him right now, but at that arm speed, it would be hard to imagine that it would really hurt that much.
And this shot was just really good. Yeah.
Just next level. That's a premier shot. One of my favorite shots in the game is the big, high, sweeping Anheuser, and Kevin's just saying, I don't care what you like. I'm going to go big sidearm Spikeiser. And if you got the power to do it, man, go for it.
Yeah, live your dreams, you know?
Live your dreams, dude.
I'm going to go with the big, high spike myself.
Yeah, right. And this is looking pretty nice as it's tracking back to 36 feet.
To my previous lie.
Yeah, well, you just got practice in the last hole. See back-to-back Cam Todd action, maybe?
Oh.
This is kind of prime spot for Simon to do what Simon does, but he lays it up. I'm sure he's trying to give that a little bit of a run.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
And look at that. Just like we called back-to-back, not quite as elevated as the hole before, but 2 putts outside the circle to get your 2 birdies in the round so far. That's getting it done.
Yeah, scrapping, you know,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get some together for sure.
And Kevin off right side, his first blemish of the round. You can't really call a par on hole 2 a blemish. That's really his first missed opportunity to score.
He needs to make that putt, though. He knows it.
Yeah, I mean, 29 feet uphill, challenging putt, especially for a player like Kevin who loves that jump putt. Sometimes being just on the inside of the circle is one of the most frustrating places to be as a committed jump putter.
For sure. I mean, you saw what I did from that same spot.
Yeah, you just want to be 3 feet further. You almost want to take the disc and just putt it behind you 2 feet and then jump at it. But that's stupid, and we wouldn't do that.
That's wasting shots. We don't waste shots.
Hole 8 is a par 3, 462-foot hyzer all the way. If you're a lefty, you better have a big forehand because this hole is just a big spike hyzer, and you want to come down to avoid having to play the luck shot. You want to get just underneath that ceiling, but most shots are going to be crashing up into those limbs, and you just kind of crossing your fingers and hoping you get through.
Yeah, there's not a player that's like, I'm going to land it right there perfectly. We're all just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, kind of closing your eyes, but that looks good.
Yeah.
And there's the tree. One of the yeah, exactly. And when there's, I mean, you throw the shot and then you hold your ear sideways for about 6 seconds, and then you listen.
Yep.
And you hope you hear the sound of earth and not trees.
Yep. Yeah, man, I'm curious with this one. This one looked really early.
Mm-hmm. And
it's over there. Early.
It went forward. That we know.
Kev Jones should make the correction from Nikko's. That's the one thing on this hole. You don't want to be the guy who goes first. You really don't, because you don't know what the wind's doing. Sometimes the wind lifts, it shoves you down.
So I like the release there. That was a lower line, enough height to get over that last tree before you get to the tree line with the basket, but it didn't quite make it into the circle, I don't believe.
Simons didn't hit really anything. That was that shot where you're like, you can land. You can definitely kind of land right there.
Mm-hmm.
But you're so far above the basket that it's like the wind. There's just so many variables. It's just impossible to really aim it there.
Yeah, the best thing to do, like, just take an overstable disc and just chuck it up there. Does he do it again? This is a clinic right now. Nikko's 100% circle 2, I think. If not, it doesn't matter because he's making
100% of them.
He's just killing it.
Yeah, he's
and
making
that was
and different ways. Too.
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
different styles.
Yeah. Jeez. Is disc golf easy now?
I mean, for those two, seems like it.
Because I feel like it's still as hard as it's ever been. But they're not getting the memos that I'm getting. Really? What's going on? Simon, dude, this could be the first ever Slomez star frame. Simon, do not disappoint the fans.
I didn't want it to disappoint.
Simon.
I felt like I had a putt for the world title.
Come on, Simon. No way! That's amazing!
Yeah.
That I've never seen before. I think that might be a Jomez first. 4 for 4, all outside the circle. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That's the best $25 Jomez is ever going to donate.
We had to work for that $25.
That is so
sure.
cool. Man, moving to hole 9. If you guys do it here, I'll pitch in $100. A hole 9 par 3, 428 feet is what they have listed it at, but I actually measured it at 356. But it plays every bit of 450, so it doesn't really matter how far it says. You have to chuck it far, and it's got that low ceiling, and you have a ton of limbs that are trying to catch your disc. And that's one way to avoid the low ceiling.
Just throw it in the bushes.
Yeah, but if you get just past that grass line, that's a great shot to try to navigate that low ceiling.
No, it really is. I was playing some practice rounds with actually Macbeth, and he was throwing the roller as well.
I heard
And
that he would be doing that this year.
So I was trying to do Macbeth stuff, and instead I did Ulibarri stuff.
Just call it text. You just Ulied yourself.
Well,
And Nikko lining up that roller.
Beautiful shot, Nikko.
Wow.
that's what I was trying to do.
Wow.
Even when Nikko does it, it's Macbething it, isn't it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, until someone breaks his course record, then it's a Macbething. I'm surprised. I really thought we would be seeing more air shots, but Kevin rolls it into the rough.
It just seems so easy.
It
honestly.
does.
It really does.
I looked at it today, and I ended up throwing the air shot, but the roller just seemed, for some reason, more inviting than ever before. Maybe it's just the way they cut the grass this year.
We all ended up throwing the roller.
Even Simon, now that's really surprising. That's also 2 straight, and that's going to be in the rough. Oh, no.
He must have just caught one of the little limbs that
Yeah.
drags you into the big limb, and then that big limb shoots
Sure.
you straight down.
This is the first real danger that our card's been in of taking a bogey. Simon somehow hit chains on top of the basket? How did that happen?
It sounded like he made it. It's like,
What was
ching.
that? It made the sound of a made putt, but it hit the band. That's weird. Wow. Okay. This is so good. So right now, Kevin Jones is just slaughtering the course, and he's 3 back of the pace that Macbeth set when he was 10 down through 9.
Yeah.
But to be fair, there was that par 5 that is now a par 4.
he's just killing it, man.
But yeah, he is just only 2 throws back of what Macbeth did when he shot the 18. No.
Come on.
Heavy left side chains, just sliding out. And actually, that's not necessarily true. That's not the first bogey scare we had. Nikko made that nice par save on hole 3.
Right.
But that is the first bogey we're going to have, and it's on the last hole of the front 9. And here is our leaderboard check-in. After 9 holes, Kevin Jones, obviously, he's on top at 7 under. Calvin Heimberg, Ricky Wysocki, James Conrad right there behind him. They're shooting incredible golf at 6 down, and obviously Slow players right there behind him. How did you feel about that front 9?
Oh, it was awesome. I thought it was pretty fascinating how many long putts were made. I feel like this course really brings that out of the player to where you have to make those long putts to score. So
that could be a record for the front 9 for slow mezzes. Thank you so much to the JomezPro Founders Club. You guys are awesome. You're the reason this all happens. Thank you so much.